finally succeed and traveled abroad. Guys, peeling raw egg is hard, but let me tell you something that is even sweeter and crazier. This is not my story, but I'll share it like it's my story so it will be interesting. Me and this guy, Mike, we were in a serious relationship for 7 solid years. He's an only child, very hardworking, a sweet guy. He has carried me to his mother several times, and not once did that woman show me any sign that she did not like me. In fact, Mike would tell her, Mommy, I will marry Miracle. He said this right in front of her, and she was busy calling me our wife, our wife. Every weekend, I'm over at her place, sweeping the compound, cleaning the whole house. I followed this boy suffer. We drank Gary together. My eyes even almost got blind. His mother knew my background, though. She knew we were not from the same tribe, but she never said a word. I think she thought her son would never make it in life. She just left him for me. So my hardworking guy finally succeeded and traveled abroad. I was so happy, thinking, finally I'll be the wife of a rich man because I have really tried. Money start coming. Then Mike says, Miracle, who else can I trust to hold my property? Of course, it has to be me, his lovely girlfriend. He can't trust his uncle, that bad uncle who betrayed his father and sell his property. It has to be me. I was into building family and building a home. Why will I eat his money? I brought properties waiting for him. Suddenly, the mother realized I'm from a different tribe. Now that money is involved, tribalism has entered the matter. One day, the mother walked into my house and demanded for property documents. I called Mike to confirm and he acted confused. He said, No, I did not tell her to collect anything. My heart rate at that moment was through the roof. Speaking of high blood pressure and stress, which organ consumes the most energy in the human body? The answer is the brain. It burns 20% of your energy. And my brain was burning 100% trying to calculate what these people were playing at. Guess what? I find out that Mike and his mother were using me to catch cruise. 7 years of dating and the mother has secretly prepared a village wife for him. And Mike knew he was the one who secretly told his mother to come and collect documents from my hand. They forget who they were playing with. A homie, sharp Delta girl. Want to use me for 7 years and dump me for a village girl. Never. It's not possible. I knew if I had just sold the property and stayed in Nigeria, his family would look for me, and those people are wicked. So I played smart. I sold the property quietly, used the money to work my documents, and flew straight to the same country he is in. But I stepped my feet here on this abroad soil. I changed my mind. I looked at myself in the mirror and said, I cannot marry again. Let me go and marry that village girl. I have taken my 8 years labor allowance. Okay, guys, at this point, if you were this girl, what will you do? Will you do the same thing? And if you were the man, what will you do? But guys, the story did not end there. You know, Mike, he's an only child and he's very stubborn. When he realized I was already in the same country with him, his head scattered. He couldn't believe. Enroll him God's plate. Plus, let's be real. It was the money from his sold property that worked my documents and brought me here. Text message started coming in hot. 4 a.m., 5 a.m. My phone was just vibrating. Mine started begging. He said, Miracle, please. It was my mother's doing. I only told her to hold the document so she would stop bothering me. Suddenly, he came to the apartment where I was staying here in abroad, threatening me. Mike was shouting that the only option here was to marry him and he would still marry that village girl as a second wife. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. He wants to chop my 7 years, now it is 8 years, take his property and still bring that village girl to stay on top of my head. That was the moment I knew Mike never loved me. While all this was going on, I sat down and looked at Mike and my mind went back to how I grew up. You see, people think I'm just a tough Delta girl for nothing, but they don't know my story. I grew up without a father. My brave mother sold banana by the roadside just to feed us. I grew up never knowing my dad. When I turned 16, I started asking my mother, where is my dad? So one day, she said okay, and she carried me to go see him. That was when I realized the reason why my mother stayed away from that man. He was never interested in me. He looked at his own flesh and blood like I was a stranger. My mom had to train me all by herself. I tried my best to connect with my father, but there was no way. He was completely cold. Why? Because he was scared of billing. He was terrified I would ask him for money. I had just entered the university then. And even if it was because of school that made me look for him, was it a bad thing? Please drop your answer in the comment section. He's the one who gave birth to me. Of course, my father had another wife and other kids that he thought were better than me. Those were the ones he was happily training. To my dad, I was a nobody. Out of the lack of support in my first year of school, I had to drop out. I followed my mother back to the street to start selling banana because she couldn't carry the load of sending me back to school alone. Me and my mother planned that we would hustle, sell our banana, gather money, then I would go back to school to finish my education. We were pushing, we were surviving, until that one bad morning when a terrible accident happened that almost took my mother's life. My mom woke up early that morning as usual and went to her banana spot. But before she left, she told me to finish the house chores and come meet her later. I was cleaning the house when my phone rang. It was my mom's friend, the woman who sat close to her by the roadside. She was screaming on the phone, Miracle, come quickly, oh. Your mom has been involved in a serious accident. The funniest and most wicked thing was that the driver did not care to look if my mom was alive or dead. He hit her and ran away. Hit and run. Before I could even rush to the scene, the people around her had already rushed my helpless mother to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, the doctor dropped a bombshell on me. They said I need 7 million naira to save my mother's life and perform operation to fix her legs. 7 million. My head scattered. Please, I beg, ask me and my mom where do we see 7 million. I swallowed my pride and cried to my father. I begged him to save his former wife, to save my mother, of course. He looked me in the eyes and said he doesn't have any money to give. Week passed, and my poor mother was confined in a wheelchair, living through serious pain every single day. The doctor warned us that if we did not look for the money on time, she might not make it. So I went back to the roadside to start selling banana just to eat and pay rent. Of course, you all know there is no way on earth a person can sell banana and save up 7 million naira for a major surgery. We were just living hand to mouth, watching my mother fade away. There was this man who was my mother's regular customer. He lived in a beautiful mansion right close to where my mother sell her banana. The man does not have a wife anymore, but he had 3 kids, 2 girls and 1 boy. The 2 girls were already married, living with their husband here in Nigeria, and the last born, the boy, was living abroad. In fact, he was the one who built the big mansion for his father. This man bought his regular banana from me and went back home. 3 days later, he came back to the spot. He looked around, looked at me, and asked, "Miracle, where is your mother? I've not been seeing her for a while now." I looked at him and said, "Sir, so you don't know what happened to my mom? She was involved in a terrible car accident." The man was shocked. He felt pity for my mother because he knew her to be a good, hardworking person. He looked at me and said, "Young girl, once you close from work today, I will follow you home to go and see your mother." When I closed from work, I went to the man's house first. The man came out with his car, a clean, beautiful Mercedes Benz. Me, I was so happy. I literally jumped up before entering the front seat. The man drove straight to my house. When we got there, he met my mother. Of course, my mother narrated the exact same story I told him, how the accident happened, the hit and run, the wheelchair, and the pain. The man listened carefully, looked at us, me and my mother, and said I will see what I can do. Now, it wasn't like he had that kind of money sitting down in his personal account. The man abroad was the one looking out for him, but he told us not to worry. He would talk to his son who lives overseas. The very next day, the man called my mother. He said he had just spoken to his son, but the son said we should just until he returns to Nigeria at the end of the week. True to his word, at the end of the week, the son came back from abroad. The father brought him straight to our house. The old man looked at his son and said, "She's the woman I told you about. She needs help. She needs 7 million for an emergency operation." But guys, this son, he was a womanizer. The moment he set his eyes on me, his eyes changed. He started liking me on the spot. He asked me for my number and then turned to my mother and said, "Don't worry, I will call your daughter when the money is ready. Which hospital do you want to do the operation? Just give me a few days. We will sit down, talk, and take your mother straight to the hospital." I was flying on cloud 9. I was so happy, thinking, finally, my mother is not going to die in this wheelchair. But before I tell you what happened when that boy called me, let's see if you know more about hospitals and surgeries. Which organ in the human body is responsible for filtering our medication and toxin after a major surgery? The correct answer is B, the liver. It does all the heavy lifting to clean your blood. And speaking of heavy lifting, let's go back and see how this boy wanted to lift my body. 3 days later, my phone rang. It was the son. He told me to come meet him at the hotel. I did not even think twice. I was so happy and grateful. I rushed down to the hotel room. When I walked in, he looked at me and dropped the news. He said, "Miracle, the 7 million is ready, but you have to give something to say thank you to the person who is providing the money." My head scattered. Little innocent me. I didn't even understand what was going on. I was looking at him completely confused. So, guys, I want to ask you right now while I'm peeling this egg. Look at me, a young girl trying to save her mother's life. What did this man want me to give him as thank you? Was it banana? Was it prayer? Or was it something else? Drop your answer in the comment section right now. continue my story, I want to ask a question. When a person gets a sudden shock or a terrifying news, which gland pump adrenaline into the blood? A. The pituitary gland. B. The adrenaline gland. C. The thyroid gland. The answer is B. The adrenaline gland. They sit right on top of your kidneys. And my adrenaline was pumping 100 miles per hour in the hotel room. Guys, innocent me, I started showering him with prayers. I said, brother, God will bless you. God will give you more money. You will find a good wife when you want to marry. And God will bless you with beautiful children. But the boy just laughed in my face. He looked at me and said, Miracle, look at me very well. Do you think I need your prayers to marry fine wife or to have fine children? Please answer the question. What are you giving me? There's absolutely nothing your prayers want to add in my life. I'm already blessed. My heart sank into my stomach. I looked down and told him, Sir, I'm from a poor home. I don't have anything to give you that can match the worth of 7 million. Then he came closer. This guy said, So as beautiful and sexy as you are trying to tell me you don't have anything to give me. You have plenty things to give me. The life of your mother is in your hands right now. If you can't sleep with me, your mother will die. Choose one. Guys, the room went completely cold. When someone feels that kind of terrifying heavy pressure, the woman body undergoes an extreme physiological response. Let's see if you know. Okay, guys, when a 16 years old experiences extreme shock and panic, which part of the brain trigger emotional survival response? A. The cerebellum. B. The brainstem. C. The amygdala. The answer is C. The amygdala is the emotional smoke detector of the brain, and my amygdala was screaming in the hotel room. Let's continue. I started begging and pleading with this man. I told him, Sir, please don't do this to me. I've never done this kind of stuff in my life. I was only 16. I told him straight up that I don't even know how they used to sleep with a man. And you know what this wicked boy said? He smiled and said, Don't worry, I will teach you. Guys, if you were in my shoe at that exact moment, what would you have done? Would you protect your pride and let your mother die in that wheelchair? Or would you sacrifice yourself to get that 7 million naira for the operation? Drop your answer in the comment section. Let's see your thoughts. Those people that usually say, I can die for my mother, let's hear what you have to say. Speaking of my mother's leg and 7 million naira operation, do you know that the longest and strongest bone in the human body is the femur, but a car accident can shatter it completely? Guys, I woke out of that hotel room without sleeping with him. But when I got back home, my mother looked at me from the wheelchair and asked, Miracle, did he give you the money? I didn't know what to say. The pressure was too much, so I lied and said yes. She asked where is the money, and I told her I was scared to carry that kind of cash around. So I asked him to hold the money for me first. My mother was so happy. She immediately picked up her phone and called David's dad to thank him. Yes, the boy's name is David. 3 hours later, David called me. He said, what's going on? You know I will not give you the money, so why are you lying? I broke down. I couldn't watch my mother die. I told him, David, I've thought about it. I will do it. He just said, okay, I will send you the location of the hotel. Be there tomorrow. The next day, I went and slept with him. As promised, David gave me the 7 million. I cried. I really cried. I looked at myself and realized I've just lost my virginity in the most painful way. We rushed my mother to the hospital. The doctor performed the surgery and her life was saved. David traveled back to abroad, and his father and my mother became good friends while she was slowly healing. I went back to the roadside to continue selling my banana. A new year came, and with the help of David dad, I finally went back to school. My mother tried her best. David dad was the biggest support system we had. And that was when I met Mike inside the university. Mike was a student too, but the guy, he looked completely homeless. He was deeply, really suffering. After everything I've been through the year before, I didn't care about money anymore. I decided to date Paul Mike. He never took me on a nice date to a fancy restaurant or a cinema. Our dates were mango dates inside a thick bush. If you see this bush, you will run for your life. We also did beans dates. I will eat from his plate. He will eat from mine. He even feed me. We were deeply in love. Hard times, we will drink Gary together. I spent most of my time chasing a lot of good worthy guys who were coming for me. Guys, does this thing happen to you? The moment you enter a serious relationship, that's when everybody start liking you. And besides that, I was a fine girl, a model look like. Even back then, guys would just do things for me and give me money without me asking. And do you know what I did with that money? I would take it and give it to Mike. I would surprise him with singlets and boxers for his birthday. He had nothing. I was totally involved with him. I would go to his mother's house, sweep and help with all the house chores while other guys were trying to get my attention. All I could think of was Mike, how we were happy, climbing trees together like kids. Of my past with my father and with David, I hated men. I didn't trust any of them. Mike was the only man on earth I trusted completely with my heart. He literally broke my heart into pieces. Now that I am in abroad with his property money, he wants to force me to marry him while keeping that village girl on his side. The moment Mike stormed out of my apartment, my phone rang. It was my mother. She was incredibly excited, screaming with joy because her only daughter is finally in abroad. My mother's heart was just filled with pure happiness. I am that woman pride, her bundle of joy, her everything. She asked me, my sunshine, how are you doing today over there? I told her I was doing fine. She said, my daughter, I'm so happy for you. At least I can tell people I have a daughter staying abroad. We laughed, we gisted. For a moment, I forgot about my chaos. Later that evening, David dad called me to congratulate me too. And during our discussion, I find out that me and David, we were staying in the same country and even the same region. But look, a homie, I have finally reached overseas, so I wasn't going to let man ruin my joy. I went out to see beautiful places, took a lot of high quality pictures, and I even went to Disney World. I was living my best life. 2 days later, a message popped on my phone from an unknown number. I asked, who is this? The person replied, my name is David. You don't remember me. He sent me his current picture. He asked if I would meet him up. I told him, I'm busy. I have a lot going on. Meanwhile, Mike was still there texting and shouting, demanding my pay him for his old property, screaming I was no different from his wicked uncle. David kept blasting my phone with text message and calls, begging to see me, so I finally decided to go meet up with him. And guys, I won't lie, we had a lot of fun. We did a lot of water activities, we went swimming, he took me to the most expensive place in the city. Then David looked into my eyes and genuinely apologized. He said, Miracle, I'm so sorry for what I did to you years ago. I was tempted by your beauty. I hope you find a place in your heart to forgive me. But right after that emotional apology, all of a sudden, David started trying to touch me. That was when I knew I have overstayed my way home. I stood up immediately, left his place, and went back to my apartment. I had absolutely no idea he was driving behind me, chasing after me. When I finally got to my house, pulled up, and walked up to my door, I saw Mike standing right there on my doorstep. He was angry, waiting for me, and right as I turned around, in shock, David pulled up behind me. The moment Mike saw David standing there, his face changed. He looked at me, pointed his finger, and started shouting, "Miracle, who is this guy? So you're cheating on me." He was screaming, making a massive scene outside my apartment. I looked at Mike dead in the eyes and shouted back, saying, "You deserve everything I did to you. You are deeply ungrateful human being." Hearing our argument, David immediately caught on what was happening. He stepped forward, looked at Mike, and dropped a massive offer. David said, "Look, I will pay you the full value of the property she sold, down to the last coin, on one condition: you promise never to disturb Miracle again for the rest of your entire life." And guess what? Mike drove off without saying anything. The next morning, Mike came crawling back to my doorstep, begging. He said, "Miracle, please, if you marry me, I will completely forget the property money." I looked at him and said, "What about the village girl your mother prepared for you?" He quickly replied, "I will never have anything to do with her again." I just looked at him and said, "Okay, I will think about it." That same evening, I went to see David. I looked at him and asked, "David, were you really serious about paying Mike all that money just to leave me alone?" David smiled, looked at me and said, "Yes, I will pay it, but only if you marry me." I said, "Okay, I will think about it." I just went home back to my apartment and started sleeping. Guys, I decided to marry Mike and let everything go. We got married, and for a while I thought I was building that dream. I was happy. Mike was happy. My mother back home was filled with joy. I don't know about my mother's happiness. I'm now a mother. My beautiful baby is just 1 year old. But this morning, my entire world came crashing down. I woke up, walked into the living room, and saw the village girl. Mike and his mother secretly married her behind my back in Nigeria. Mike did her immigration paper using the life we built here. She arrived in this country, walked straight into my house with a baby that is exact same age as my own child. Mike expects me and this girl and our two babies to live together under the same roof as one happy family. Like how? The disappointment. I don't know what to do. I feel like I should leave this home, go to a different country, start a new life with my baby. Besides, I'm only 25 years old. What should I do? Should I fight for this marriage? Because I don't see anything fighting for.